All right, what's up everyone? It's Reelphatties here, and today what I'm going to be talking to you about is the top 3 ways that you can fish for springers in tributaries. So let's get into it. So the first technique that I'm going to be using here is I'm going to be using twitching jigs. What I'm going to be looking for when I'm coming down to a river that I know gets springers is I'm going to be looking for a lower section of the river within the first 2 miles from the Columbia River, and I'm going to be looking for any sort of deep holes. A 12-foot deep hole right there. And so what I'm going to be doing, first of all, my first technique is I'm going to be using twitching jigs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get into my backpack. I'm going to grab out our Reelphatties twitching jig box here. And one of the first colors I'm going to go ahead and grab out is our Spring Fling. White and chartreuse twitching jig is super successful for springers. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is get it tied up. I'm going to first work the smaller hole, the 4-foot hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to twitch this jig for about 10 minutes. I'm going to switch out to a new color, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for about 40 minutes. I'm going to go through about 4 different colors. I'm going to use anywhere from 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce twitching jigs for this water right here. It's going to keep it down. I'm going to try to aim for that wood stack that's right over there, because that's a good spot where these springers might want to be hanging out and stacking up. So I'm going to go ahead and get this tied on. What I'm doing here is I'm tying on, this is our Spring Fling jig. This is just a fisherman's knot. It's pretty much the knot that I use for everything. As you saw, I wetted my knot, super important. So we're gonna go like that, tie it down. I'm not really too worried about the tag end on the twitching jig. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this casted out over here by this log pile and try to twitch it until it gets within about 10 feet of me, and then I'm gonna go ahead and reel it in. So let's go ahead and get it out there. So just bouncing it right off the bottom there, just like that. I'm gonna work this for about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my next jig color. So for twitching jigs, I'm gonna really quickly go over the rod that I like. What I like to use is a Lamb-O-Glass X11. This is 7 foot 9 inches rod, and is 8 to 15 pound. This is a twitching drift rod. It's really important that you have a nice, shorter rod with a nice backbone in it, so you can really stick it to the fish when it goes and bites. That's really important about a twitching rod. And then what I do is I have 12-pound mono on here that goes directly to my jig. I just tie it directly to the jig. It just is a lot easier for me. Some people do braid and then have a bumper, but the braid floats, and I want this twitching jig to get right down. So this is what's been super successful for me. And then any 3500 series reel is gonna work just fine for twitching jigs. Alrighty, so I just pulled off the Spring Fling, which is a nice bright and white and chartreuse jig. So what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna want to switch it up. I have my jig box here. I'm gonna go ahead and go with a Reelphatties Blurple jig, and the reason why I'm switching, I'm gonna go to a dark color. It's clear water. You constantly want to be switching. You know, I kind of like to go from dark to light. So after this one, I might go to the Cotton Candy, which is a nice bright jig, and then after that I'm gonna go to this jig right here. This is our Glow Bugger twitching jig. And then after the Glow Bugger, I'll go to the Screaming Mimi. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with one jig. I'm gonna work all the way down. Then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna switch jigs, and I'm gonna work all the way back down again. And I'm gonna do that until I get through all 4 of these different colorways. And then I'm gonna show you guys the second way that I would fish for springers in tributaries. So after the twitching jigs, my next method that I'm going to be using for springers in tributaries is going to be a bobber and jig. Now what's really good about the bobber and jig is that you can change the depth, so you're fishing in different depths. And then because you are in that weird time where there could be some possible summer steelhead that are in here, or some leftover you know, fall run steelhead, you have a chance to be able to catch those guys too. But floating this jig right in front of their face can be super deadly. So the rod that I'm using for this is a Lamb-Glass X11. Is this a 9-foot, 10 to 20 pound? It sounds 10 to 20 pounds. Some people go, oh, no way that, you know, you can put a salmon on that, and we do it all the time. So it will definitely be able to hold what you need. So what I like to do is I like to cast a little bit upriver, and then I like to float it down. I kind of start shallow the first cast, and then I start to work a little bit deeper as I can tell that float isn't bouncing up and down. Try not to make super long floats like all the way down, because then what can end up happening is you're gonna hook a fish when it gets way down there, and you're gonna have so much line out that you're not going to be able to actually get a good hook set on that fish. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I got my bobber stop right here. I'm going to go ahead and slide it up. Those are available on our website also, if those are something that you guys are interested in. I'll put the link in the description. If you guys could help this channel out a little bit by liking and subscribing to the channel, smash that bell notification, you know, all that helps us out so we can get more videos to you guys, get you guys some more products. You know, we're always out here trying new stuff, trying to get you, you know, the newest, greatest fishing tackle that we can. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna show you guys a little bit what I got here. So this is our jig. So this is our jig right here. This is, you can find this on our website. This is a egg sucking leech jig. And then we have a very short leader. And then what we have here is a barrel swivel. And then I have 2 of the egg sinker weights. Then I have a bobber stop right there, so then those egg sinker weights don't float. I have a bead to protect my float. This is a arrow float, a 1/2 ounce. And then I put a corky on top just to help visibility. And then once again, we have our Reelphatties rubber bobber stops up top. I love those rubber bobber stops because, you know, they're so versatile. You can really use them for anything. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to cast it out just like that. What I like to do is cast a little bit farther than I like, and then I reel it, so then I make sure everything's sitting the way that I want it to. Just letting it float down just like that. And then what you can also do is add any water soluble scents that you guys like, you know, shrimp, garlic, or anything along those lines. Those are all really great scents by Procure, or the rooster tail scents is really good scent also. So after I've fished this setup for a little while, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to switch out to a different color jig after I move all the way down the river like I would with the twitching jig. What I mean by walking down the river is I'll make a cast here, then I make 1, 2, 3 steps down, and I go ahead and make another cast upriver just like that. Pull my my line tight, and I just go ahead and float that down. And then after this cast, I'd go ahead and take another 3 steps down. Fish with your feet, so then you're not making super long floats down. And then once we get, like I said, it's about 4 feet deep right here, and it's about 12 feet deep right over there. So once you get down, then you're gonna have to adjust your bobber stop, so then you can get properly fishing in those spots. So after I worked all the way down, then I'm gonna switch colors just like I would with a twitching jig. Now what I want to get into is the 3rd way that I would fish for springers and tributary. So let's get right into it. So the 3rd and final way that I'm going to be fishing for springers is I'm going to be using a Brad's Wiggler, and this purple color is really successful for salmon or steelhead. This is a Brad's Wiggler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rod, the same rod that I'm using for twitching. I find is very effective also for these wigglers. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take my wiggler here and tie my line directly on there. Try not to stab my fingers. Go ahead and wet my line. And then what I do is I go ahead and tighten up my knot just like that. And then I'll show you guys how I fish this. What I'm gonna go ahead and do here is I'm gonna go ahead and try to cast it as far as I can upriver, because what we're gonna do is when we do cast it upriver, it's gonna float on top of the surface. We're gonna have to give it a little bit of a jerk to kind of get it to start diving. So we got it just like that. As you can see, it's out there floating on the surface. Boom, giving it a jerk, and I just slowly retrieve. and let that Brad's Wiggler do all of its own work down there. So this is really, these Brad's Wigglers are really effective in the deeper holes. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and walk a couple steps down to right where this hole, this deep hole, starts shallowing up, and those fish could be stacked up right on that, right against that rock wall. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is get that thing casted out there, and I'm gonna pull it down just like that, and just let it, I'm kind of just, you know, sometimes you just don't even really have to reel, just let the current do the work for you. Just really slow reeling if you do need to reel, so you can kind of keep that, have it keep diving. So what we're gonna do is once you start seeing it get close, I just like to pull it straight out of the water, or else it's a good chance that it can get snagged up on stuff. Alrighty guys, I hope that helps you guys catch more springers this spring, and then I hope that helps you. Those techniques can also be used for fall Chinook or coho, so I hope that helps you guys catch some more fish. Don't forget to like and subscribe, help out this channel keep growing. Thank you for everyone and all of you guys' support. I'll see you guys on the next episode.